Underwent an open heart surgery yesterday, quite critical as doctor did preempt the boy, life threatening. So that's the this thing can happen to any one of us. I think it was last week also. I went to see Ustaz Abdul Halim. Ustaz Abdul Halim is the principal of Madrasah Wat Tanjung. He's also quite critical. He's still unconscious when I met him lah. Ni waktu Ramadan, sama-sama lah. Malam terakhir doakan untuk kebaikan all the student of the madrasah, the teachers, the parents of madrasah. May Allah put them under His guidance and His protection. Okay, Alhamdulillah. The person who's going to do presentation this afternoon is an expert lah. An expert lah. Tadi yang anda lihat tu bukan expert. Itu action aja. This is the real action. Dr. Zam is a person who is a specialist in cognitive approaches, cognitive brain know-how lah. Know-how of learning. Know-how of learning technology. So anything that got to do with learning, diagnostic of the brain, of the saya pun takut saya berdiri kat sini dia tengah diagnose saya punya brain ni. I think for those of you who went for the retreat, I think your children had a test and he did actually went through some of it. But of course there's many things that he want to go through that simply tak boleh habis dalam 3 hari. I think it's a matter of follow up, and also today he want to touch a bit lah. So I say please continue. Not all participants this afternoon may come from retreat lah, but I'm also from the retreat. I would like to know a lot about these other things that we should know lah. So insyaAllah, you are not here to listen to me, you are here to listen to Dr. Zam. Marha Dr. Zam, silakan.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, before I start, because this is a public seminar, right? So it's actually open to the public. So I just want to have a show of hand. Who didn't go for the retreat? That means this is the first time you are seeing me talking to you. Oh, actually quite a lot of you all. Okay. So I think if that is the case, then I will treat this. But madam, I've seen you before. So for those who have been around, right, from the retreat, you will see that I will repeat a few things, but then I think I will focus on a few important things. So for those who didn't go for the Ramadan retreat, that means your children didn't go for the brain core infinity diagnostics. Right? So how, Mr. No? Those students who never sit for the brain core. Okay. I think I will just let you understand the brain core diagnostics, what we can do lah, okay? I think that is what I will do. Because what happened for the Ramadan retreat participants, they actually have the results, right? So they can do a few things with the results. All right. So I named this workshop, Yes, I Can, Parents Workshop. Okay. These 3 words, yes, I can, I think kids as young as 2 years old can understand all the 3 words. Yes, mommy, I, can, cannot. But when you put these 3 words together, Akil, so Akil came for the algebra mastery. So Akil was one of the students. So we always use the word, yes, I can. So these 3 words, yes, I can, when I was back in school as a teacher, I was guiding classes of students who are supposed to not have any reason in life to be successful. So basically, I started with students who have no reasons in life to be successful. They have no reason. No reason at all. You know, like some of you, I'm not sure whether you know such people that exist. Like for example, some students who don't have a house, they live at a void deck because their parents are more interested in getting married, divorce. Okay, this one not for me. Divorce, marry another one, divorce, and then the kids ended up at a void deck. And then you have students whose parents are in prison. You know, in prison, drug addicts and things like that. And then some of them are poor. So basically, they don't have any reason to do well in life. They don't have any reason. And at the same time, some of them also have learning disabilities, right? So I was a teacher of such students, but at the same time, because I had a master's in biology, so MOE still forced me to teach bio. So if you are in secondary school, bio is taken by students who are the top also. So I had the chance to do research on students who are at the bottommost to the students who are the best, right? So today's presentation is actually, I would say, a summary in a way that it benefits all of you who are here. Is a summary of what I have discovered, right? From the worst students to the best students. Because you might be very surprised, huh? I've seen students who are already top 3 in school, no? In school, top 3. Then as parents, sometimes you wonder, hey, my child is 92%. How to get my child from 92 to 100%? So even these kids, believe it or not, they have the same issues as kids who are last in class. And what is that issue? Can anyone of you guess? What's the same issue? Anyone? Self-esteem, yes. Motivation. So I know a student from one of the madrasahs, I will not reveal. Okay, from one of the madrasah, she's always like first, second, every year, no, first, second. But then, she doesn't have self-esteem. Like for example, when she's supposed to write an essay, she will feel she's not good enough. She said, no, I don't want to write yet. She keeps holding back writing the essay. Right? So later on, what I've discovered is all these students, no matter whether they're the worst or whatever, the reason is always the parents. Okay, the parents. The parents is the reason why a child will do well or not will do well. The parents. It's always the parents. The teachers, I think probably 5% of the time will be the teachers, but 95% of the time will be the parents. All right? So what I have discovered will be things like intellectual factors. So intellectual factors mean things related to the brain and things which are not related to the brain. Like for example, emotional issues, things like that. All right? So to start off, okay, since most of you all have not seen these slides, that means whatever I'm going to show you will work, okay? But for those who know, just keep quiet, because it's not going to be so nice for them. All right, so to start off, I just want to show you all that you all have a brain. I know all of us, we know we have a brain. But how do you know you have a brain? How do you know? You know you have money when you go to the bank. Hey, I have, $100,000 in my bank? Then you know, oh, I have money. But how do you know you have a brain? How do you know you have a brain? How do you know you have a brain? Have anybody seen your own brain? How do you know you have a brain? How do you know you have a brain? Don't know. So you have a brain or not? You have a brain. How do you know? How do you know you have a brain? Don't know, right? You just assume you have a brain. Okay? So I'm going to go through with you some exercises to prove that you have a brain. Okay? So we shall feel how the brain works. Alright, so to start off, I think everybody who has gone to the retreat have seen this, but for those who are new here, what can you see? I think just now mostly here are those who didn't come. Okay, so what do you all see? Okay, you see two faces looking at each other. Where else? You see the vase, right? Okay, so later you will get to know more about your brain, okay, slowly. So in this case, as you can see, your brain tells you different things. Right? For some of you all, what's the first thing you see? Oh, you see the vase. For some of you, what's the first thing you see? Two faces looking at each other. Right? So, for me, right, because of my background is I did biology, and then I did genetics. And then after that, I did education. Then after that, I did engineering. So because of all these things that I do, I'm able to look at a child in strange ways. Okay, in very strange ways. So that's why when you look at the brain, okay, the brain actually has a lot of great things about it, okay, which I'm going to share with you later. Okay, can you all read the next slide? Read this sentence. Okay, so anybody notice anything or not? What do you notice? Repeated twice. Did you see it straight away or only towards the end? Then you, oh yeah, actually the is repeated. Which one? Towards the end, right? So you see what happens or not? Your brain is already adapted to this fact. That is, it won't waste its time to tell you that you're reading the twice. It won't waste your time. So your brain is already adapted in a certain way, like especially when you're reading this sentence, the double the, you will not be able to read it if you are the first time reading it. For those who are at the Ramadan retreat, you already know, right? Your brain already is very alert. Oh, there's a two the, right? So later, I mean, the brain is really a very fascinating thing, okay? So since we are in a madrasah, you know, that's why Allah always says, right? Our life is an illusion, right? Even scientists, the most recent research that I found out was scientists have found out that actually whatever we see, this whole thing, actually is just not real. It's just an illusion. So the fact that you're seeing me standing here, actually I'm not real. It's just your brain perceiving it, right? So even scientists have found out that all of us, right, even when we touch, let's say I touch this cushion, very rough, right? It's rough, right? But actually the real thing about life is all of us, even all of us, are made up of waves, energy. Basically, we're just energy. All right, we're not physical things. Okay? All right, now I want you to tell me, how many dots can you see? How many? 1, 2, 3. So you know how to count to 10 already. Very good. How many? How many can you see? So how many? How many you see, sir?
I think it's only one.
You see only one. Okay, never mind. See only one. Okay, those who went for Ramadan retreat, I think later I will ask you all for the correct answer. Okay, how many you see? 12. You see 12 because you really see 12. Okay. So, how many do you all see? Okay, there are actually 12 dots. 12 dots. Alright? So, as you can see, the reality is there are 12 dots. So, for those who never see 12 dots, don't feel so bad. This is not a math question. This is very easy. You all wait, go and do PSLE problem sum, then you know that one is difficult. Okay, this is very easy. Don't worry. Okay, so what's happening here is your brain actually block out most information to make your brain a more efficient brain, so it doesn't waste a lot of effort, right? So that's why some of you see 1, some of you see 4, but the answer is there are 12 dots. So in reality, there are 12 dots, but your brain perception is at first 1, and then some 4, right? And the other interesting thing I can tell you also is the perception of children and perception of adults also vary, because children, they have not developed their brain. So what happened here is children, they are less judgmental. So that means they are not quick to assume. But adults, because of our experiences in life, right, especially those who went for Ramadan retreat, I can guarantee you, when I showed them this slide again, they know 12, they can see straight away. That's called learning. Right, so adults develop their brain, they already form certain perceptions of life. So for kids, that's why they always say, kids, how come kids are not racist? You realize that, right? They always say, kids are not racist, they accept everybody of all races. But adults, through our experiences, we always assume certain things. So it all got to do with our brain. Okay, now one more. So quickly tell me how many dots you can see. Ready? Go. Okay, I let you all suffer for 5 seconds first. Count how many dots. So, did you go for the retreat? So, okay, this one cheating, cannot ask you. Did you go for the retreat? Oh, you went also. You? You went also. Who didn't go for the retreat? How many dots do you see? 35. You see 35. Okay, what's your name?
Muhammad bin Salim.
Muhammad bin Salim saw 35. I think I know why you see 35, because I saw you carry a container for donation, right? So you want the number to become big. Okay, so he saw 35 dots. 35 dots. Anybody else? You didn't go right for the retreat. How many dots? You also see 35. Okay, that is called the power of suggestion. The power of suggestion is... Well, I'm like exercising. Okay, but already breathless. Okay, the power of suggestion is this, Actually, there's nothing in reality. Then when somebody said 35, then you get influenced. You also say 35. You counted 35. But actually the answer is 0. There are 0 dots. There are 0 dots. Okay? Your eyes and your brains are playing tricks on you all. Okay? So don't worry. If you don't see any, if you see dots and then after that I tell you there are no dots, that means you have a brain already. Don't worry. So proven, you have a brain. Okay, now I'm going to show you this slide. Okay? So this one is my right side. Okay, right side, left side. Which white circle is the larger one? The right or the left? The right or the left? The right or the left? Left. Same. Same. So change your mind already. Don't know. So give up. Like, no, that one is bigger. No, but no, cannot be. Then after, never mind. I'm confused. I'm having a headache. The answer is? Yes. It's the same. It's the same. So as you can see, right, this is due to the distance. Okay, it's due to the distance of the black dots to the white dots. Okay, like this. So I explain to you. So for example, this one, if you take a look, both of the white circles, they are the same size. Okay, they are of the same size. But that one, okay, the round circumference, the black one is closer, whereas this one is further. So which one looks bigger? That one looks bigger, right? Okay? So like I mentioned to you, I want to keep repeating to you. Reality, sometimes, there's no such thing as reality, I think. It's all perception, right? So that's why one of the things that I find is when you set your mind about your child, let's say, you say, dia daripada kecil memang like that. From young is like that. When I gave birth to him, 7 days old, I already know what kind of child that child is. Man, like that, very noisy one. Like, like my sing a song to him, then he'll keep quiet. Like from 7 day old, you already know the child, what kind of child he is. So once you have the wrong perception of the child, guess what happens to the child? The child will actually follow you lah, follow your perception. And then you also reinforce your belief about that child. My child, dia memang suka like play Lego. My child like this, my child like that. Right? But the research that I've done shown me one thing. Children at an early age, they are good in everything. They have the ability to be good in everything. Alright, so for those who went for the Ramadan retreat, I actually told them to do this. I told them to compare their children who are younger and who are older and look at the multiple intelligences. Okay, look at their multiple intelligences. What they have found is kids who are as young as, let's say, kindergarten and primary 1, their multiple intelligences are balanced. That means everything they are good at. They are good at music, they are good at everything. Music, math, word, everything. But as they grow older, some of the intelligences are more developed than others, especially Singaporeans. Singaporeans, what I've discovered is, as we grow older, our nature smart is gone. Our nature smart is gone. As compared to New Zealanders, okay, as compared to people who live in New Zealand, even when they grow older, their nature smart is still there. So Singaporeans, right, in general, we are math and picture smart. In general, most of us are math and picture smart. So as adults, most of us are like that. But there are some who don't do well in school. Okay, there are some who don't do well in school. They are not math and picture smart. They are music smart. So that's why when they are in school, the teacher always teach the same thing. Right? Singapore teaching style is always the same. I don't think, you can go and ask your children whether when they go to school, the lessons are conducted when the teacher is actually rapping. You know, rapping. Yo, let's learn about photosynthesis. Right, Akil? Your teacher like that? No, your teacher don't do that, right? Yeah. So you go and find out. Because some of our kids are music smart. Okay, some of our kids are music smart. But the way teachers are teaching them or the way you expect them to learn is not the way they are supposed to learn. So later we'll discover all of this. Alright, now I want to do this. Okay, let's take a look at this. Okay, now, on this slide, there is a black dot. Can you all see the black dot? Can see a black dot. Okay. Now, this is what I want you all to do. I want you all to stare at the black dot. The black dot, okay? Stare at the black dot. Not close your eyes and stare at the black dot. Open up your eyes and stare at the black dot. Okay, stare at the black dot for 20 seconds. Okay, I will count down for you. And then when I say go, I want you to look up onto the ceiling. Okay, look up onto the ceiling. Look up onto the ceiling. Alright, so 20 seconds. Focus on the black dot there. Starting from now, go. Okay, 10 seconds. 10 more seconds. Five, 3, 2, 1. Look up. You can see a rainbow? You all can see a rainbow or not? Can, Okay. So you all can use this tip next time when your students or your children tell you, Umi, my results, and then you see your kids' result not so good, you go and look at this rainbow. Okay, so you feel much better. Alright, so again, there is no rainbow, right? There is no rainbow, but you saw the rainbow. Right? It's all because of your brain. Right? So your brain has the ability to see things that don't exist. Correct? So this is something that you need to know. Your brain is created such that you are able to see things which don't exist. Okay, now. Okay. me just use this. Alright, so this first image, what animals can you see? Duck and rabbit. How come you know so fast? From the internet, Instagram, Twitter. Science Center. Oh, okay, Science Center. Now I know why. Okay, it's from Science Center. Okay, so this one you can see area. This one from Science Center. Rabbit and duck. Okay, now how about this blue figure? You see a duck and a bear. A bear. A duck and a rabbit. Okay? So this is the duck's beak. So the rabbit is facing this way. So this is the eyes, these are the ears. Okay? So this is the bunny. Okay? So now this one. What can you see? A swan and a squirrel. Can you see a swan and a squirrel? Right, I just remembered. The kids, I think the kids also, do you all do these things? You did? Okay. Alright, the last figure. What do you all see? You see a horse. Okay, the horse is the most obvious, right? What else? A frog. Okay, a frog or a toad. Okay, so congratulations. You have proven to yourself that you actually have a brain. Okay, now we can move on. No, I'm just kidding. Alright, so now that your brain is filled with animals. Okay, your brain is filled with animals. I want to ask the parents. Okay, because your children are here. So never mind, I will ask the children also. Alright? Okay. This is the question I want to ask. So, your brain has been seeing a lot of animals, right? So, I'm going to ask two people. One is those who never go Ramadan retreat. Then the one I'm going to ask those who went for Ramadan retreat. I want to see whether they have changed their answers. Okay, I'm going to go and ask the vice principal. Which animal you think is your child? You don't have a child. Okay, how about your students, mostly? Eagle. See? Educators always think like that of children. You know, we always think you all can soar to greater heights. Okay, you all are eagles. Okay, sir, did you go for the retreat? Okay. Which animal do you think your child? How many children do you have? 2. Okay, this is your child that you brought. Okay, which animal you think your child is? An ox. Why? Huh? Strong or stubborn? Ox. But you think you're an ox? Don't know. Okay. What's your age? How old are you? 8. Okay. So you're free to be any animal. Your father said you're an ox doesn't mean you need to be an ox. You can be any animal. Like for example, the VP mentioned you can be an eagle. Okay? Okay. So who went for Ramadan retreat? Akil's father, I think, went for Ramadan retreat, right? Yeah, because I know he went. Okay, so at first, what you thought your animal was? They behave like that, okay? But he seemed to be behaving well, without your parents. Okay, so what's your name, sir? Okay, Mr. Saleh said he always think that his children are monkeys because they behave like monkeys. Okay, in terms of behavior lah. Okay, but later, the reason why I'm asking you all this question, I'm going to flash an image. Okay, because this question must have context. Okay, there must be context. So just now I was just asking for fun. Later you'll say, wow, why Dr. Zam now say why must I choose what animal my child is? Of course my child is not an animal. My child is a human being. Right? But I want to show you this context, this picture, so that it will set you all in context about my question. Okay, so there's this very handsome guy there, doing nothing much, just sitting down with a mustache. So that guy said, for a fair selection, everybody has to take the same exam. Fair what? Everybody takes the same exam. So please climb that tree. So that's why Mr. Salih's children are all very clever, they all are monkeys. They can climb the tree. Right, Akil? See? They can climb the tree. So he went for the Ramadan retreat. That's why he knows. He knows the answer. Alright, so if you look at the image here, there are so many different animals. Right? But that guy there, who I call the Joker, so that's why I'm not in MOE anymore. Because if I'm in MOE, I think that one is my boss. But I'm not in MOE. I call that guy a Joker. That's why I'm here. Okay? Because this Joker, he says, all of us are supposed to take the same exam. Fair? I mean, everybody must take the same exam. What? But the truth is, all of us are different. So the education system right now, they want all of your children to be monkeys. Because only monkeys can climb trees. So Albert Einstein, okay, now I want to bring the name of a popular person. If not, Dr. Zam, who is Dr. Zam, right? How can he support such a thing? So Albert Einstein actually said this. If you have a child who is good at swimming like a fish, okay, and then you call your child stupid because of the way he fly or climb a tree, he will forever think he is stupid. Okay, so that is Albert Einstein's quote. Okay, so Albert Einstein, even though he's not an educator, okay, he is an advocator that all of us have our own strength. Okay, so like for example, you look at the dog. The dog is in shock. What? You mean I have to climb the tree, but I'm a dog? I can bark so loud. I can smell one single molecule from kilometers away. But does that examiner care? No, he doesn't care. He doesn't care if you can become a guide dog. He doesn't care if you are the one that can guide blind people. He doesn't care if you can rescue people from a collapse, probably when a building collapses. He doesn't care. All he wants are monkeys who can climb the tree, right? Then if you look at the seal, same thing. The seal also cannot climb the tree. If you look at the fish cannot climb the tree. But if you have a child that can swim 7 oceans, but they still don't care. Right? They don't care because they want that fish to climb a tree. All right? And then even the elephant. The elephant, we know the elephant is very helpful. Can carry heavy load and things like that. But still, they don't care. They just want the elephant to be able to climb the tree. Okay? Same thing with the penguin. The only animal that is very happy with the examination board is the monkey. Right? So just now, I told you a very bleak aspect of Singapore's education system. Now I'm going to tell you something positive. So the Singapore education system is slowly opening up. Right? So for your information, I think starting from next year, or is it this year already started, O-level, there is a subject called, okay, this is a dream for some parents, especially the fathers. There's now a subject called PE. PE is now an O-level subject. Okay? Physical education now, I can score A1 for PE. Okay? So Singapore now is opening up, okay, to different subjects. So if you look at Singapore, we have Singapore Sports School. Right? Sports. That one, open up. And then we have School of the Arts. Slowly we are opening up lah. So basically, I think, with research done, Ministry of Education also understands that okay, that not every child is a monkey, right? So every child can have their strength. Okay, this one is the last 10 nights. Right? I also very sleepy. I pretend only. Okay, I'm actually very sleepy also. All of us, last 10 nights, you know, we kiam, everything. So kita husnuzon. Okay, kesian. Okay? So, I'll try to be louder than the snow. Okay, never mind. Alright, so, yes, it's true. If you look at the education system, 100 years, it has not changed. There is one thing I want to share with you. Okay, there's one thing I want to share with you. In Finland, okay, so in Finland, there are no more subjects in Finland. Okay, they don't have math, they don't have science, they don't have English. Finland, they don't have that anymore. Okay, because Finland, the education system, if you notice, is actually one of the world's top education system, and they don't give homework to their students. Their students have no homework. Their students have no exams like PSLE. So recently, I was watching this video on Facebook, whereby there was this Finland engineer. So he said his whole entire life, he never had to sit for any exams until he was in university. He did not have to sit for any exams until he was in university. Okay, very animated audience today. Right, so like I mentioned to you, Finland is one of the world's top education systems. Singapore also top, but suicide rate also top. Okay, so sometimes we forget, you know, like for example, Singapore top, what? Never mind lah, just good. Singapore top education system, why are we complaining? But then the suicide rate is also top. The suicide rate is top, you know. Like for example, I think one of the main stories that you all know will be that primary 5 boy who jumped down from the condominium. Right? And that one, what I heard from the Straits Times, this one is like insider news, insider info. Do you know that actually the number of suicides are more, but the news cannot show too many because of copycats? They don't want our children, there's too much coming out in the news, they will copycat the suicide. So in Singapore, the suicide rate is quite bad for children, right? So if you notice, actually this workshop, I'm preparing parents when they receive the brain core results, right? Why am I preparing them? I'm preparing them because I want you all to know that your child, okay, has his own talents and gifts, okay? So like for example, when we did the brain core, I was very shocked. This is the first time I saw this result. Okay, I was very shocked. There was this primary 1 girl from Madrasah Irshad. She scored the cognitive function score is as high as a student who would be taking O-level from a top school like Raffles Institution, and is from primary 1. This girl is from primary 1 in Madrasah Irshad. So you have to go around finding out, who's this girl? Must go and learn. What assessment book the mother buy, I must buy. Too late. Okay, I tell you first, too late. My research have shown, okay, later you will find out, there are 2 peaks of neuroplasticity. See, now Dr. Zan talk about plastic bag. Neuroplasticity, okay, neuroplasticity, later I will introduce to you this real thing that scientists just discovered. There are actually 2 peaks of neuroplasticity, okay? So the first peak is, just now I said dah terlambat, too late. Because your children, from the early ages of 4 to 5, I can guarantee you, I haven't identified this child yet, but I can guarantee you, the parents from young will have already made the children do what? Play with puzzle. Play with all the mind games. Let them learn through playing. Expose the child to all this. So that's why I say, if your child now is primary 1, you keep comparing, hey, that girl 58, no. That girl can get so high. Why you cannot get? Too late already. Okay, so no need to compare. I can guarantee you. Okay, you can take my challenge, go and find that girl, go and ask the parents. That is what the parents did from young. Okay, so I know some experts in early childhood. Like for example, Dr. Shazila Nordin, she actually did research called the 0-day-old baby, smart baby program. 0-day-old. So that means a baby, as soon as you give birth, okay, I mean the mother, as soon as you give birth to the baby, you can start developing the brain. You can start developing the brain. That means you don't just focus on the diaper, focus on the talcum powder, focus on this milk. You can actually start developing the brain. Okay, so Dr. Shazila actually did a research on that, and she has found at 0-day-old, the brain can already be developed. Okay, so that is what I have found with that primary 1 girl. So for such a girl, what do? You see, so that's why when you have the brain core results, it is useful to you. Because when you see that if you have primary 1 child, that have that kind of score, you already know, okay, this is the child who I know will become somebody like Dr. Rufaiha, for example. Dr. Rufaiha is a scientist, right? She's a scientist. So you're like, no, okay, I know my child is very good. Okay, I can push for science Olympiad, math Olympiad. I make sure she really score 4 A star. And I won't feel bad because I know she already have the potential. I won't feel bad because I know. But if your child later, when you see the result, it's not 58, you want to push, you want to this, you want to torture, you yourself torture yourself, And then you make the child bonyo. I've seen before. Okay, I've seen before. Parents, sometimes they never align their expectations. Okay? So having said that, I also want to let you know, you can increase the score. That means you can increase the cognitive functions of your child. You can increase. Later, I will show you. Then just now, I mentioned that it's too late, right? Okay, I want to reveal something to you first, before I show the slide. If your child is primary 1, now, of course, it's a bit too late to increase the cognitive function. It's a bit too late. But the next chance for you, as parents, the next chance for you Allah has given, the next chance, which not many parents know, is when your child reaches puberty. When your child reaches puberty, the first 2 to 4 years, scientists have discovered that the brain becomes plastic again. That means that is the part, if you don't believe, okay, most of students who really change for good in life, it happened during puberty. That is the other change. But the problem with kids who reach puberty is they can become quite problematic. Teenage problem, right? Got their own teenage attitude. But you have to be patient because that's the part that's the other window that Allah has given parents to come in and help the child develop the brain again. Right? So I have seen students, because I teach secondary school last time, so I've seen it with my own eyes. Because Sec 1 to Sec 4 is exactly the period, is exactly the peak period for neuroplasticity. Sec 1 to Sec 4. Right? So preschool, 1 chance. Once go primary 1, a bit too late. Another chance, secondary. So that's why I always advise parents, after PSLE, please put your kids in the best school, the right school. Okay, I've seen kids so innocent, go Sec 1, still innocent. By Sec 4, I got a shock of my life when I received that person at Sec 4. So you must really choose a very good school. So for most of you all are parents of Madrasah Irsyad. So I think you have chosen a good school, a very good environment for your children. Okay? Okay, now, since we are talking about children, right? Since just now I mentioned to you, your child, cognitive, everything about cognitive. So let's discuss this about what you think makes up your child. Did you go for the retreat? No. Okay, so, madam, what do you think makes up a child? You can introduce yourself and then you can take the mic.
I'm Nadia. What makes up a child? In what sense? Sorry.
What do you think a child is made up of? What makes a child? Like for example, okay, what makes a cheesecake? Cheese, flour, is that flour? Flour, sugar, egg,
Love.
love, okay, very good. Some more?
Pure.
Purity.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right. Do you go for UN? Do you? No. Okay. What makes up a child? You can introduce yourself.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Jara. I think parents' guidance, their environment, their experiences, their exposure, their social circle, their spiritual exposure, all those are factors that make up a child.
Okay, very good. Are you a teacher? You're not a teacher. Preschool? No. Oh, okay, very good. So that means you really know your stuff as a parent. Okay, madam, what makes a child? What makes a child? You tell me. What makes a child? Okay, what makes a child?
I went to the retreat.
Oh, you went for the retreat already. Okay. Okay, very good. Just now, if you notice, when I asked the first sister, she said that love makes a child, right? Then the second very elaborate answer is, the child, the environment affects the child. The environment affects the child, the experiences, the social, right? So why I want to let you all know is this. Even though my research is on a few factors, I want you to know, right, that the child is not as simple as what we think the child is. There are so many reasons why a child cannot do well. So like for example, my case, okay, I founded this establishment. Okay, for your information, I hate the word tuition. So I don't call my establishment tuition center. I just hate the word tuition. Because tuition is, you know what not? What's the meaning of tuition? Tuition basically means you pay for your children's remedial. Okay? Tuition to me is like paid remedial. You just give extra classes because your children at time never pay attention to the teacher or the teacher is not good. So you go for extra classes. So to me, I don't believe in that because there's no value. Tuition has no value to your children in the long term. Right? So one of the things that I found out is parents are very simplistic in their understanding of a child. They send their kids for tuition. And then for me, I was very fortunate because I do a lot of research. So I actually followed two children. I followed two children. Both are boys. Both sat for PSLE in the same year. Both are the first child in the family of the same number of children. Both had the same brain core results. Both had the same coaches in my studio. Everything is the same. Guess what is the difference? What's the difference? Yes. What's the difference? Hannah, right? I see. I'm very good with names. I can remember people's names. Okay, Hannah, what did you say? Parents. Yes. These two kids, everything is the same. Serious. Even the number, when I look at the number, wow. It's like sometimes when you want to get this kind of data, it depends whether Allah gives you the data or not for you to get the knowledge. So for me, I was very lucky. I got the data because these both kids are the same. But how come one child, the parents are teachers. The other child, the parents' highest educational qualification, the other time I checked was ITE, and then the other one was PSB. Okay, so anyway, at this stage, some of you already make judgment already, right? Okay, never mind. So this child, one child, the boy, used vulgarities like nobody's business. Okay, both from secular schools. Okay, madrasah, I also got heard before lah. Students use vulgarity, but smaller fraction. But this one secular school. So this boy, he's a bully. He used vulgarities. Always want to fight. Until a very kind boy, who is very nice, very positive, can end up punching his face. This is the truth. Okay, and then the parents gave my staff a very hard time. Until one of my staff actually quit within 24 hours. Okay, then the other parent, okay, the other bunch of parents, wow, they are the most humble human beings I ever met. Like really, you know, it's like when you talk to them, you don't have, if you have high blood pressure, your pressure go back normal. Very calm, very supportive, very good. One of them went to Raffles. The parents so angry with us until we don't know where the child goes, so never mind. But I believe the child, I think, went to, I don't know, probably normal tech or normal acad. But for information, both take standard subjects. All take standard subjects. Everything is the same. Same neighborhood school. Same kind of neighborhood school. So why is it that one go to Raffles, the other one, I also don't know what happened to the child already. Now, here's the shocker. The child that goes to Raffles, the parents are not teachers. The parents are not teachers. Okay, so it's double whammy for me. Double whammy for me. It's like, oh, teachers. So just now, the other time when I go for Ramadan retreat, one of the parents actually said, what makes up a child? Character. Character makes up a child. Akhlaq. It's true. Later I will share with you one finding from Harvard. Harvard did a research on students who are in medicine, engineering, law, and all this, and you know what they discover? IQ got no relationship with how successful the child will be in the job performance. What matters is EQ. Okay? So later I will share with you this fact. Right? So to me, this is very interesting, you know. It's very interesting. Very interesting. And I see the same pattern. When the admin only tell me, oh, Dr. Zam, you handle this parent, I cannot take it. I don't need to look far. I just look at the kid's result. No wonder. Simple. Cannot help one. Seriously. To me, I feel, because later when I show you the slide, environment is very important, you know. I've seen so many parents, the kids have huge potential. But as soon as the child steps in the house, kenapa lambat? 2 minit lambat. Kenapa bodoh sangat? Banyak kali mak dah cakap, kenapa bodoh? 2 minit, kau susah kau lah. This is a fact. I know you all won't use such language. But parents, there are parents, because like I mentioned to you, my teaching experience, I taught students who have no reasons to succeed. No reasons to succeed. They are the worst. They are in the worst circumstances Singaporean students can have. So I do have some students who halfway of the academic year have to go to a boys' home for stealing and things like that. So can you imagine? I mean, for me, I'm exposed to all. I'm exposed to madrasah parents. I'm exposed to different kind. But honestly, I can share with you, parents themselves who have good akhlaq, their children tend to be better. It's just that whether that child has a cognitive function or not. So if your child has good cognitive function, and you really, you know, you're the kind who's like very calm, you know, you give a lot of positive vibes, your child will do well. But if your child cognitive level is low, but you are very good I mean, you're still good. Don't blame yourself. Because the problem now is your child's cognitive functions. So you just need to help your child in that area. Right? So that's why I always repeat this. Okay? Parents is the number one reason whether the child will succeed or not. So even if I share with you, you know, the cognitive functions of your child, I share with you all the tips, right? But as parents, if we ourselves cannot be the best parents for our kids, then it will be very hard. All right? I've seen it myself so often. Right? There are many kinds of parents. So like, for example, these 2 boys that I mentioned to you, that one very clear cut. Very clear cut. So what is sad is the boy, the one that is a bully, the parents are teachers. They are primary school teachers. Primary school teachers, diploma holders. I mean, when I do research, I really go in depth. I check, you know, because they submit the data, I want to compare. Yeah, so surprisingly, cognitively, that child, I still remember that child because once a while I do my audit. So when I go, I look at the child, yeah, that child is disruptive. Cannot sit still. Very disruptive, move around. But then when you talk nicely, suddenly the child like shocked, like, got people can talk nicely to me. So we can sense already, That means that child from at home already kena whack lah. A bit only, it's like, So that's something lah. I mean, that's why EQ is very important. And as parents, we have to help develop that. Okay, so just now you all mentioned what makes up a child. Okay, so just now that madam. Okay, so that madam almost get everything correct. That's why I was wondering whether she's a teacher. All right, so probably you learn it through experience, is it? Or through books, experience? General knowledge, okay. So like the other time, during Ramadan retreat, most of the parents, they will say akhlak, character, social, and then they've forgotten all aspects, other aspects. Okay, so actually, if you look at the child, at the center is the self and the spirit. Okay, at the center of the child is the self, how the child view himself and his spirit. Okay, his spirit is very important. So I have met students who are broken. I've met students who the spirit is already broken. Right, so how you fix such students? And then you have the cognitive, you have the social, physical, emotional, and the environment that the child is in. Okay? So just to share with you, like 1 month ago, I met this social worker. So this social worker, he's doing his master's. So this social worker, he was doing his master's, so he was doing research. So he told me one thing. He said, research has shown, okay, you just need one positive adult role model for that child to be successful. You just need one positive adult role model. You see, the word I use is one adult positive. Okay, so no point if you have 2 adults, but none of them are positive. And do they need to be parents? No. You just need one positive adult. As long as an adult. So these kids, this social worker, he is working with youth at risk. Youth at risk. So these youths at risk, the parents all in lockup lah, jail, DRC. So as a social worker, he has to be the positive adult role model. Right? So that's what research has shown. Even a social worker, he did his research and then after that he told me, yeah, you just need one positive adult role model. Okay, so actually I want to share with you more stories about some of us, including myself. I'm not saying that just because I know this, I'm a perfect parent. I'm not a perfect parent. None of us are perfect parents. Okay, but we can definitely learn and strive to be perfect. So some of the things I want to share with you all is, I have some parents who focus too much on one domain, and then they've forgotten. So some of us were like that. Like for example, if we ourselves were brought up by our own parents who focus on, you must do well in studies, focus on your cognitive. Later on, when we are parents ourselves, and we develop our children, we end up like almost the same. We have forgotten. Like for example, that time I shared during the Ramadan retreat, I know of a student, okay? The parents are very religious, focus on Islam all the time, very extreme, okay? Now this is the part where it's extreme. So, okay, like for example, the parents are really religious, I just take my word for it because I don't want to give too specific example. But this child, every day eat only 1 slice of bread. Every day eat 1 slice of bread. I still remember her body, like very thin and things like that. So I'm not sure whether the child is poor or what, I don't know, because I know the father works as a barber. So for me, I'm very involved. When I know a child, I want to know everything about the child. What the father does, what the mother does, right? So the mother, I can share with you, very religious to the extent that she covers, with a niqab. She covers. So to me, of course, when you see somebody, wow, very religious, cover all this, the father, from certain Islamic group, very, very religious. Focus on Islam. Islam is very important to them. but every day eat one slice of bread. Is that Islam? That's not it. Because Prophet Muhammad always says, you must do things in moderation, right? And if you see, scientific data always shows us balance. We must be balanced. Okay, we must be balanced. So that's why I didn't want to show the parents the results, because the results are cognitive based. So can you imagine if I'm just focusing on connection? Okay, it will not suit any purpose, because I want the parents, when they receive the results, to know this. To know this, right? Okay, and then the other thing I want to share, which is very important, is this part, okay? So the students down here, they will be very happy. Yay, that means no need to focus on studies already. Dr. Zhang said EQ is very important than IQ. No, I'm not saying that, okay? I'm not saying that. So basically, this is the research that I told you about. Okay, so this research that have been shown, okay, is done in Harvard, whereby they compare EQ and IQ. And this is what they have found out. Okay? What they have found out is people who do well in their jobs, 90% of top performers have high EQ. And these people who have high EQ, they tend to be promoted faster, they tend to earn more pay. Okay? So EQ is very important. So what is EQ? Okay, we always talk about EQ, right? So what is EQ? So EQ, there are 5 things. Self-awareness. Self-awareness means, can the child know himself or not? Does he know himself? Like for example, does the child reflect? Does the child know yourself? Like for example, your child know, okay, daddy, I know this test, right, I didn't do well because I have to tell you, I was very busy and I never revised enough. And then the other thing, the child can tell you, daddy, I don't feel motivated, that's why I don't do well. So I plan to be motivated. So the child is very aware. So people who are very self-aware, they tend to have high EQ. And then the other thing is motivation. Motivation is very important. So even if you are somebody with high IQ, but you don't have motivation, it's very hard. In my line, and in my group of, I know peers who have very high IQ, they do better than me in school. But they have no motivation. No motivation, also no point. Right? So the next thing is empathy. Okay? Empathy means, can the person feel how another person feels? That means, can I put myself in your shoes? That's the meaning of empathy. Empathy and sympathy are 2 different things. Sympathy is, I pity you. You're in that state. Empathy is even deeper. That is what Prophet wants us to have. Okay? Empathy is, I put myself in your shoes and feel how it is like to be you. That is why we all are fasting. We are fasting so that we can have an experience of how it is like for the Syrian children to just eat sand, grains of sand. Okay, we don't have to eat grains of sand, but it's to develop our empathy. So to share with you, if you would to really critically think, let's say you go back home, you sit down and really think about it. All the things that we have learned in Islam is actually building up our EQ. It's actually building up our EQ, right? So the next thing is social skills, right? How we interact with one another. Are we able to not always fight? Or are we able to curb our ego? Are we able to work together, right? And then next thing is self-regulation. You see, here's the thing. All of us go through a lot of things in our life. Right? All of us go through a lot of things in our life. We go through disappointment, we go through failure, we go through whatever lah. Right? So self-regulation is very important. Can we regulate ourselves? Can we regulate our anger? Let's say we're not happy with whatever somebody does to us. Are we able to regulate ourselves, regulate our thoughts, regulate our behavior? Right? So if you notice, like I mentioned to you, EQ, if you think about it, right, the knowledge that is given to us in Islam actually helps us to develop our EQ, really, almost perfectly. right? So that means if we are true Muslims, if we are true Muslim parents and we want to bring up the Khalifah, in our children will be successful, even according to science discovered by people who don't even believe in Allah. They have discovered that. Okay? So if you want to read up more, let's say you really want to know more about EQ, you can go to my blog, okay, drzan.com/blog. Okay, down there I actually gave you more things about EQ. All right, so if I can summarize what makes a person, 3 components, simple: IQ, EQ, personality. All right, so this is what employers will look out for: IQ, EQ, personality, right? So some of our kids, they have different kind of personalities, so that's why we have to develop them from young to have the right personality, and then the EQ and IQ. All right, so this one, low intelligence, high emotional intelligence, I will not touch because it's very in-depth, right? So if let's say in the future we're going to have a workshop on EQ, then probably we'll touch more on this. Okay, now I want to share with you some stories. I'm going to show you some videos. So I'm going to tell you some stories because before I go to the framework that I have developed and I have proven with research, and most recently I've proven with the fact that Dr. Rufaiha actually shared her life, right? She shared how from a student or a child until she became a scientist. So I have proven that this model, which I have developed, actually matches exactly who she is today, right? What her parents did, what she did, whatever she did as a child, all the way until she's an adult, right? It actually matches the model. So for me, I rather share with you a lot of stories so that you can find more meaning behind that framework, so that it doesn't feel so dry, like as if I'm a university lecturer trying to teach you a model, right? A framework. So at least you can relate, okay? So the first story I want to show you, like I mentioned to you, I started out as a teacher teaching all these kids. Okay, so if you look at all these kids, what are they wearing? What do they have around their neck? They have medals. Not only one, not one child, no. So many of them had medals, right? They had many medals. And like I mentioned to you, these kids, they have no reason to succeed, man. No reason. And to add salt to the wound, these kids in Singapore schools, teachers do not volunteer to teach them. Teachers are arrowed to teach them. Okay, so for my case, I'm one of the crazy ones that go to the vice principal and tell her, when I first started my teaching, I said I want to volunteer to teach. So my people, are you sure? Are you sure? But this one is supposed to teach this. Are you sure? Are you sure? He said, yes, I'm sure. Because if not, why I become a teacher? Like wasting time, right? I mean, it's true. I was invited to teach in Raffles JC. But, Akil, you were telling me your teachers don't teach anything. A bit lah. A bit. So, Akil is from Temasek JC. So, I could have chosen to go to JCs like him. Right? But, students all like Akil, they're already very, the parents are already doing a good job. Why would I need to be there? Google is better than me. People like Akil and Hannah, Google will do a better job than me. Right? So I know Hannah also. Hannah is from Raffles Girls. Because both of them went for the boot camp. So that's why I get to know them more. Right? So these two kids, they come from good schools. Why would I want to go to such good schools when my job is to do what? I also don't know. But I found out. You know what is the job of the teachers in such good schools? I have found out. Their job is to make sure these kids remain in Singapore. I found out from some of my colleagues. I have some colleagues who work in top schools. So they told me their priority changed already. Their priority in top schools is to make such students don't leave Singapore. Because they will go Cambridge, they will go Oxford, right? All these top universities. They want all these people to come back. So that's their strategy. So for me, I told myself, if I want to be a teacher, I have to be a transformer, not the transformer. Like the other time I was wearing the transformer shirt. So I have to be a transformer. I need to transform these kids. So these kids, like I mentioned to you, they are not only good in sports, okay? All of them, so many of them is actually I broke MOE record. Okay, these kids actually broke the MOE record for the most number of students who are from this stream, normal tech, that can go to normal acad. To the extent that even students who get 70%, they have to say, stop, we have enough already. No more places for you in normal acad. Right? So the reason why I'm sharing you this story is to tell you that the model that I have used and the research that I've done is so powerful that we're not talking about people like Dr. Rufaiha, for example. No, we're not talking about people like her. Because people like her, she's very fortunate to have good parents who really focus on their studies, focus on her studies and things like that. She's very fortunate. But we are talking about students here who, like I mentioned to you, their parents are in jail. They live at a void deck. And they have learning disabilities. All right, so the model that I've used have shown results. So like I mentioned to you, some of the other things they are good at is also leadership. Many of them became counselors. Many of them became their CCA leaders. Right? Okay, so this is a video I'm going to show you. This video will show to you how broken kids. There's a difference between a kid who is broken and a kid who failed in an exam. A kid who failed in an exam is not necessarily broken. A broken kid is somebody that really lose hope totally, don't have any spirit, don't have any self-esteem. All right, so this video, I will show you two broken kids.
Your past does not determine your future. Start where you are. Use what you have. Do what you can. Arthur Ashe. This is the story of a broken boy and a broken girl. The boy had just barely made it to secondary school. He had worked hard, and yet he did not pass his PSLE. The broken girl, on the other hand, had been failing her math since she was 9 years old. How could their future be bright, right? How could it be? The broken boy and the broken girl had always thought their past will remain forever with them. They will forever be failures. They will forever disappoint their parents. They will forever feel useless. As soon as they realize that their past does not and will not determine or decide their future, the broken boy and the broken girl both rose from the ashes like the mystical phoenixes. The broken boy topped his class, topped his school. The broken girl not only passed her PSLE math finally, she almost scored the highest grade possible. They never allowed their past to tell them who they will become in the future. They believe that they can change their future, and they certainly did, and they will forever have brighter futures.
Okay, so these two kids, they are really broken. All right. So if you look at them, they have very good parents. I mean, the two kids have very good parents. So that's actually a bonus. Okay, that's a bonus. So how is it possible for us to transform kids who are broken to even top the school, top the class? How is that? So if you notice at the beginning of the video, the quote is, "Your past does not determine your future." So this is something we have to keep telling these kids who are broken. No? We have to tell them, yes, we understand, your past is like this. You have always been failing. But it does not determine your future. And then when you say that, you show this story. If they can do it, they can do it. They were broken, just like you. They were broken just like you. How did they do it? You know, can you imagine for once you are that girl, Nabila. Imagine you are like Nabila. Since primary 3, you failed math, you know. Since primary 3, you failed math. You know. Every single time, fail, 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 fail. Can you imagine? Can you imagine that? I mean, like for us, some of us are employees. You know, can you imagine your boss? You go to work, your boss said, you are a failure. You fail. How did I do today, boss? No, you fail. Every single day, you are told you are a failure. You will be broken also. For your case, you can quit. Your child can quit not? Your child cannot quit. So that's the reason why some kids like Nabila, I saw this. The mother actually emailed me. The mother emailed me this picture. This is the mother picture. What happened was Nabila sat for her, I think, mid-year exam. So Nabila actually took this post-it. She pasted it on the exam paper before the mother needed to sign. So the mother actually snapshot and emailed it to me. So Nabila basically down there already wrote lah. Basically wrote down these words which basically tell the mom, I'm so sorry I disappointed you all the time. I'm not that worth. You know, I don't feel I'm good enough anymore. I'm sorry to disappoint you. I think I will fail my prelims. I will fail my PSLE. So basically this girl, you know, to the extent that the mother really felt, she's basically so broken already. You know, but Alhamdulillah, her PSLE, she scored grade 2. She scored grade 2. So from what I heard, she has lots of motivation now, right? Because one of the advice I gave to the mom was this girl Nabila, she's very good in languages. She's good in Malay language. So I told the mom, since you're already in secondary school, you can take higher mother tongue, right? Because higher mother tongue, if she sits for her O-level higher mother tongue, she can use the points from the higher mother tongue to help her. Okay, so that's why, you know, you have to know your child, all right? Okay, so just now we talked about broken kids. Okay, so just now we talked about broken kids, right? Now I'm going to show you a video of a child who is not broken, but he was raised by parents who really wanted him to be very successful. So what are the ingredients to help such kids? Okay, so if you look at the title here, thoughts become actions, actions become habits, habits become your destiny.
Thoughts become actions. Actions become habits. Habits become your destiny. I have been impressed with the urgency of doing. Knowing is not enough. We must apply. Being willing is not enough. We must do. Leonardo da Vinci. Do you know the hummingbird is not only the smallest bird in nature, but also it is an animal that by all rights shouldn't be able to fly? And not only can this bird fly, it is the only bird able to fly forward, backward, up, down, sideways, upside down, and even over. It defied everything that scientists know about birds. Just like this story of a brilliant young boy with amazing parents and humble beginnings. Since young, he was raised to be a great role model to all his younger siblings. He had positive thoughts. He worked hard, and working hard became his habit. Being serious in his studies became his habit. He had a dream. His dream was to get into one of the top independent schools in Singapore, which was Raffles Institution. Not only he had a dream, not only he kept thinking about going to this top school, not only he had many thoughts about realizing his dreams, he acted upon his dream. He kept giving his best. He revised and revised for his PSLE, studied and studied. He made sure he knew all and everything he was supposed to know. He kept working hard towards fulfilling his dream. He was also a young man with an excellent character. His thoughts had become actions, and his actions had become habits, and his powerful habits had become his amazing destiny. With great habits, his dream of going to Raffles Institution became his destiny.
Okay, so basically what I wanted to show you all is a range of group of students. You know, like for example, I have parents who before they join, they'll say, "Yeah lah, Dr. Zam, your students all very smart one what. That's why you can help them." But actually not the truth. That's not the truth. We have students who like, in fact, there was one student who came out in the Berita Harian, I think about 1 year ago. So that girl was last in class. She became first in class. So it was in Berita Harian. Right? And that girl is actually a scholar. I mean, on scholarship, I gave her a scholarship. Yeah, so it was in Berita Harian. So basically, what I'm trying to tell you here is the model that we have is a very powerful model. So later I will show it to you. For your information, these videos, they are actually used during the sessions that we have. Right? So during the sessions that we have, when they first start out the session, we will always start with motivation. Right? We will always start with motivation. Like for example, the coaches will motivate. Later you will see the model. That's the reason why when we start, we always start with motivation. So this model, for your information, is not only for students, it's also for me, it's for all of us. Okay? As long as we want to achieve a desired outcome in our life, this model works. Okay? You just have to change whatever it is in between. Okay? So I'm going to already get into that model already. Okay, so this video, the next video here, I don't want to touch, but basically this video is about a child who has a learning disability, dyslexia. Even a child with dyslexia can succeed. Now this child was from Normal Tech. He was my very first batch of students that I took in Sec 3. So he was like last in class. Then after that he topped the N level. He went to ITE, he went to Poly, he went to university. So right now he's in university at the, I think SIT. Okay. So, okay, then my own story. Okay, never mind. My own story, I don't want to tell you all. Okay, you all can go and read it. All right, so the book, the first edition book is already sold out. You can get the second edition book at the end of this year. Okay, I think I shared with some of the students who went for the boot camp. All right, so this is my own experience, but I can share with you my turning point. Just now remember I told you every human being has two turning points that Allah has given us. One is parents decide what you want to do with your child at a young age. And then after that is the puberty. So for my case, I changed in secondary school. Right? So if I can share with you a little bit, I almost end up in a boys' home when I was in Sec 1. But I changed. So there's this tiny spark in me that, propelled me forward. So, yep. All right, so what's my research? Okay, now I'm coming to that model already. Now, so my research was this, before I became a teacher, I was doing research, right, for my master's. I was working on cells. So I really like research. Why I like research? I like research because it gives me a lot of knowledge. I'm not just reading from a book. I'm creating knowledge. That's why I like research. Research is creating knowledge. You are creating more and more knowledge You know, you're not just like copying from a book. You are creating the knowledge. So one of the things I did when I was doing research, I work on cells. I want to see how can a cell develop, become better and better cells. So when I became a teacher, my students became my cells, right? The students became my cells. So the very important question that any teacher or parent want to ask is, why a child succeed and why another child does not succeed? Right? So that's the question I ask myself. Why person A can succeed, person B cannot succeed? Why? Right? So of course, I don't have adults to work on for the research. So I work on my own students who are mostly Sec 1 to Sec 4 of various ages. Sec 1 to Sec 4, there are some from express stream, some from normal ACAD stream, from normal tech, some from very difficult backgrounds, some with parents who are doctors, engineers, lawyers, some who don't even have parents who run away. So very interesting. Then after that, I also do research on races, right? Because I was not in madrasah. If I was in madrasah, I think mostly all are Malays. But I was in a secondary school, so I was able to even look at the data in terms of race. So that means I can compare, I can compare, is there a difference between Malay, Chinese, Indian, what else? Chinese, Malay, Indian, and others. I can compare. And I can tell you, I can share with you, okay? This will sound very controversial, but I want to share with you. Okay, in MOE has compiled data about the performance of students for their math and science for PSLE and O-level. So the racial group Malay doesn't look good. It's always at the bottom. It's always at the bottom. Amongst all the races, the Malay group is always at the bottom for science and math. And then we always wonder, why? Malay lazy. They always say, right, Malay is always lazy. Malay is lazy, parents problematic, right? These are all the reasons they give. But from my research, I have found out one thing. Consistently, Malays, I don't know why, okay, but only explanation later I can give you. If you are like Malays, surprisingly, you all don't be angry at me. This is just my research. That's why I don't publish it. I think I will create racial riot or something. So, what I've discovered is if you are Malays, the cognitive functions in general are low. Okay, cognitive functions in general, they score the lowest. Okay, so that's the reason why we don't do well in math and science. Okay, so in general, it's like that. And then what I have because I want to prove, because sometimes every year we know that PSLE top student Malay, correct? So some years are Malay. So I want to find out, how come? Then this is what I discover. You all don't be upset, don't hate me. I have discovered that these kids are not pure Malay. They have a mix of Chinese and Indian. So don't that time when I brought this up at NIE to a Malay teacher, the Malay teacher very angry, at me. What are you trying to say? Then he will talk to me about Hang Tuah, all this. But no, this is the truth. I mean, that's why for me I have to be very sensitive with the results. I cannot like publish in newspaper, Dr. Zam find out the Malays actually cognitive function low. That time I published something on Facebook sharing results by MOE that the Malay score the lowest in math. I already kena whack. You're racist. What is this? Melayu, Melakan, Melayu. I was like, yeah, but so sometimes I need to be racially sensitive. But that's my result. So that's why you all don't be, don't feel so sad because there's a solution. You see, in order for you to find a solution, let's say now we find out, hey, MOE say math, Malays are the lowest, science the lowest. Now we know why. It's the cognitive functions. So if it's the cognitive functions, so what's the solution? Improve the cognitive functions first. We don't just whack them problem sum. Right? So that is the solution I have found out. And the solution I have found out is to increase the cognitive function. So later, I will show you some of the ways we can increase the cognitive functions. Because in schools, I'm actually very interested in Madrasah Irsyad, because Madrasah Irsyad, I can share with you, most of the students are Malays. So based on the Ramadan retreat, I hope you are not defensive, or don't hate me. I'm just the messenger. Okay, I'm just the messenger. Mr. No Ishan, so don't feel offended. I'm here to help. So that's how we identify the thing. So from Madrasah Irsyad, most of them, because my wife very excited. No, my wife before the result come out, she was very excited. I told her, the primary 1 student score 58. Yeah lah, Madrasah Irsyad is the best, in Singapore. They all pump in money into Irsyad, confirm very good. Then I told her, no, you haven't heard the whole story. It's still the same. You see, so she was like optimistic that Madrasah Irsyad will somehow become greater than other schools, because simply Madrasah Irsyad is a better school. But like I mentioned to you, my results do not show that. My results still show, in general, they still follow the typical Malay group results, which means the cognitive functions are still low. Don't beat me, Dr. Zam, we're not going to call you for any more workshop. Yeah, but that's what my wife feels. My wife really felt like, Madrasah Irsyad is like really very good. No, very good. Because we have some friends who are professionals, and then they send their kids to Madrasah Irsyad. Madrasah Irsyad is like the number 1 choice, right? Right. So I had to be the messenger of sad news to her. I said, no, the general pool is still representative of the Malay group. It's still representative of the Malay group. Right? Because I have the data, so I can always compare. So don't worry, don't fret, okay? Don't worry, don't fret. Inshallah, we will try to improve their cognitive functions, okay? And then we will see how, by improving the cognitive functions, they can do better in math and science. All right? Because if I'm not mistaken, Madrasah Irsyad, their math result also quite similar to the Malay group, is it? In the whole of Singapore. Same, right? Yeah, it's similar. See? So that's why, because some of these teachers, they know the results, so they're wondering, how come? They have no answer, Even Mendaki does not have an answer. They pump in millions and millions, they have the M3, Malay math program or whatever. Still doesn't work. Because, why it doesn't work? You are focusing on the subject. It's the human being that you should improve on, which is the cognitive functions. You see, they got the point wrong already. They focus on the subject. But the child is not able to cope with the subject because the brain is not good enough to tackle the subject. So you need to work on the brain. You need to work on the brain for them. Yeah. Yes. Oh yeah, it's okay. I'm very famous actually within MOE. I'm famous. It's okay. It's okay. All right, because I think it's very important for us to realize that I mean, when we realize that, then we can do something about it, rather than be in denial. Okay, so what is my research? So like I mentioned to you, this is the things that I found out. So I wanted to see what makes a student or a human being succeed. So there are 2 components that I look at. There is motivation and connection. Okay, motivation and the brain. How do these 2 come together? So I was looking at academic performance, not job performance. Okay. So basically my results, if I can summarize, if motivation is low, cognitive level is also low, academic performance is also low. Okay. So if cognitive level is low, but motivation level is high, academic performance also not so high. So what does it mean? It means even though you have a child who's very motivated, but cognitive level is low, no matter how hard that child works, if the subject is not meant for the child will still not succeed. But the problem is this: if the child keep on failing, what will happen to the motivation level? Bam! Then become like that. So that is what parents see. Okay, I've seen it myself. Like students like Nabila, I would say she would be something like this. She started out high motivation, low cognitive, but then because she keeps on failing, bam, become that. Okay, then we have students who are high cognitive, but no motivation. So what? Unstable results. When I feel like study, I do well. I don't feel like study, I don't do well. The teacher say I'm good, I study. The teacher say I'm not good, I don't study. So that are the kind of students we have who are not motivated but very smart. Okay, and then of course we have the last group, very high motivation, very high cognitive. Then of course academic performance is palm, the greatest. Okay, so yeah. All right, so now I'm going to show you the framework. All right, so the framework is actually very easy to remember. Every day we take 3 meals a day, right? Breakfast, lunch, dinner. So this is the other meal that you can think about, which is called the meals system. All right, so this meal system is called the meals kinetic system for success. So this system is actually a wheel. It's a wheel. Is a wheel, right? So you always start with M. M is motivate. So each time you are trying to help a child, you always ask yourself, is the child motivated or not? If the child is not motivated, no matter what you do, the child will not improve. The child will not improve. Now, this is one thing I want to share with you. Dr. Rufaiha shared with us that in her room, as a child, she has motivational posters. In her room, no, she pastes everywhere. And her parents send her for motivational workshops. All right, so you cannot discount the importance of motivating your child, right? On top of that, of course, the parents bought her a microscope, bought her books, but most important is motivation. You need to motivate. So after you motivate the child, now your child is very motivated, what do? You equip the child. So I mean, this is the part, when your child is really motivated, you equip the child. So what do you equip the child? So if you look at the child, okay, my child is weak in math. Now you have already motivated your child. Okay, your child is motivated. Went to you and say, okay, Papa, Mama, I want to do well in math. So you equip the child with what the child needs. Right? So we always start with motivation. And this model works for all of us. Like for my case, before I was married, I was very slim. I was a marathon runner, believe it or not. My mother-in-law at the back. Right? Mother-in-law, last time I was very slim, right? See, my mother-in-law can vouch. I was very slim. But before that, I was actually overweight. I was an overweight child. So for me, I know exactly how to use meals kinetics, even about losing weight. Right? I needed to be motivated. So I was motivated. I told myself, okay, I need to lose weight so that I can find a life partner. So I have motivation. Then after that, I equip myself. Like for example, I was going on diet, the right diet. You know, I was jogging. I was trying to lose weight. Right? Then I have an A. A is ask. So I cannot do it on my own. I have a coach. You know, a coach that look at me. Hey, you must jog this way. You cannot jog that way. Things like that. Right? The next thing is I do the L. So sometimes I wonder, it's like, how come this week I never lose weight? What happened? So there's an L. L means you learn from your successes and your failures. Right? Then I will ask, oh, because I go on a crash diet, cannot. Metabolic rate will go down. So when metabolic rate go down, you exercise like crazy, so you will not burn any fats. Right? Then after that, I get success. I succeeded. So when I succeeded was when I could wear 32-inch jeans. Like, yes, I can wear 32-inch jeans. I remember the taste of the success. Oh my God, I'm no longer fat. I felt good. I go to any shops, I can buy any clothes and I can fit in. Right? So I don't have to always wear all these plus size clothes. Right? So that success became my motivation. So that's why it's a wheel. Okay, so I will show you the wheel. Alright, so if I can fit Dr. Rufaiha into the wheel, since some of you all went for the Ramadan retreat, she actually went through the same wheel. In fact, there was one newspaper article, Mr. Noor, Mr. Isham actually shared on your Facebook page, right? Your Facebook account. You showed Dr. Rufaiha whereby she said she failed her chemistry, right? So she actually failed her chemistry before. But she still a scientist. She's still a professor in NUS. She failed her chemistry. Why? Because it's at the L there. L is to learn. That means it's okay to fail. What we're trying to tell the kid is it's okay to fail, but you need to learn why you fail, and then you go back to the E, you go back to the A, you go back to the L, and then you succeed. Right? So if I can share with you my personal story when it comes to academic performance, I can still remember till today my very first test when I decided to change. You see, because once you must have the M, right? The M is you must decide to change. You must decide to do well. I can still remember my very first success after I decided to change as a secondary 2 kid was my literature test. I scored 20 out of 20. So at that time, I was doing Animal Farm, right, by George Orwell. So I cannot believe it. I'm not a language person. To tell you the truth, my father attempted to buy me storybooks, but I ended up being a librarian, not a reader. I'll just take the book. Okay, Nizam, your birthday. Now give you whatever amount of money. Buy books. I just label number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. I don't like to read I don't like to read fictional books. Okay, I'm the kind of person who likes to read non-fiction books. I mean, things which are real, things which are about science, history, things like that. So for me to get 20 out of 20 for literature, after I decided to change, that means in all of us, when we want to achieve a desired outcome, we have to decide to try. We have to decide to try. So when I decided to try, I equipped myself with the right skills. I had A, which were my friends and teachers. I went to them, I asked them for help. And then after I got 20 or 20, I still remembered, this is how many years ago? 25 years ago until today. I can still remember my teacher, my classmates. I was from an all-boys school, so I remember all my classmates. And then I still remember the exam paper and the mark 20 over 20. So that is what success can do to you. For me, when that happened to me, I've never believed in myself, in the sense that I've never believed I'm good at anything. Until I told myself when I had the motivation. So you can read that book and find out where I get the motivation. The motivation wasn't a good motivation. It wasn't a positive motivation. It was to prove a teacher wrong, because that teacher humiliated me. So that's why I say a tiny spark. But I don't expect the kids to always have negative motivation. It's always good to have positive motivation so that the child doesn't become like revengeful or doing something just to, like I just want to prove to you. But it still works for me. Right? So I scored 20 over 20 until today. I can still remember the taste of success. I'm sure all of us remembered the taste of success. So I'm going to ask Hannah. Hannah, what was your first, many Hannah here, is it? What was the first success you ever tasted? First success.
Beating my brother in PSLE.
See? Beating your brother. You scored what? 2-6 something. Yes, she felt good beating the brother. That to her is success. Give it to her, Give it to her. Serious, or are you just kidding? Really, you felt good. Okay. Yeah, so different people, they have different success, right? If you were the only child, what would be your success? How would you think your success would be? Becoming captain in hockey. So every one of us have our own taste of success. Right? Every one of us have a taste of success. So when you have success, guess what success will do to you? It will motivate you. And then the wheel keep turning. That is the reason why the girl who got last in class got first in class, because we use this model. We use this model because from last in class to get first in class is a very long marathon. Very long marathon. So you need to keep turning, follow the same thing, turning until she gets first in class. Right? So that's why this Mills kinetics is very powerful. Okay? All right. So these are some of the things we do lah. For M kinetics, these are all the different skills we do. Yeah. So we have all the different skills. So we actually go to schools and we equip the children with all these skills, right? We also have a school program. We actually do the meals kinetics on a school level. On a school level. So that means, they go through the whole phases, with the principal, and the whole thing lah. Okay, so now let's take a look at the brain. All right, so now is the part where we will take a look at the results. But some of you don't have the results, so it's okay. All right, so basically I have created this diagnostic suite. Okay, it's called Brain Core Infinity. If you notice, I use the word brain, I use the word core, I use the word infinity. What does it mean? It means our potential for success is unlimited. Our potential for success is unlimited no matter who we are. So that is our belief. If you start out believing that your potential for success is unlimited, you can achieve as much as you want, okay, then you will achieve it. So that's why I call it brain core infinity. That means it has something to do with the brain, but there's the core of the brain, which will then give you infinite possibilities. All right, so, okay, here's the thing about brain core. So brain core infinity have two components. The first component, if you look at that image, every one of us have a different brain. Okay, Howard Gardner, he is the one who came up with the theory of multiple intelligences. He's a Harvard education professor. He's very famous. Basically, yeah, he's very famous. He came up with these multiple intelligences. So what I did was I innovated, I adapted it, and I use it in our own context and develop it together to make sense. So every one of us have different intelligences. Like for example, math smart, word smart, music smart. So how do we combine all of this with cognitive function? So if you look at the image there, it's talking about how fit your brain is. So just now I shared with you about the situation with the Malays, right? The Malay students. The situation with the Malay students is we are not brain fit. We are not as brain fit as the other racial groups in general. Right? So like I mentioned to you, I have a background in genetics. Okay? So my research have pointed out to this. If you look at Singapore, Singapore have three major racial groups. The Chinese, the Indians, and the Malays. If you look at the Chinese and the Indians, the races have thousands and thousands of history, thousands and thousands of years of history. So that means that race has started from so many thousand years ago that if you learn genetics, it's actually supposed to be good for that species. Okay? So that means what I'm trying to tell you here is if you are a new species, let's say you are just a new group of genes, if you just started out, you will not have the best genes yet because you have not tested the environment whereby the environment will pick the best genes from the pool. So the Chinese and the Indians, they have a very long history of being on Earth, human civilization. But the Malays, on the other hand, if you look at the Malay punya, how they come about, our history is actually very short. Very, very short. So if you look at human evolution and how the human travel around the whole world, compared to all these three races, the Malay is a very new race. So that means our genes have not been tested against the environment such that we have the best genes. Right? So that's why we are always encouraged to marry somebody who's genetically very different from us so that we have a bigger pool of genes. So there's this guy who I think is very famous. His name is Mahathir Mohamad. He's not Malay. He's mixed. He's mixed Indian. All right? He's mixed Indian. So each time I say that, people will always be angry with me. But I'm just telling you all genetically from my point of view of genetics. Okay? So now that we know the facts, so how do we help the Malays? like I mentioned, this research, right? We have to do brain fitness. We have to do more brain fitness before we start, whacking them on problem sound, whacking them on all the processing skill, whack, whack, whack. No point, they're not fit. Can you imagine? You have a you have a boy who's very weak, and then another boy very muscular. You ask this boy go and do push-up 10. You ask this boy do push-up 10. Who will do 10? The boy who's muscular. So math and science in Singapore is asking your brain to be that fit. Right? But we don't have to worry because all the Singapore idols are all Malays. Okay? So don't worry. All the Singapore idols are all Malays. And the Singapore captain is also Malay. Malay, is it? Yeah, okay. Singapore captain, Fandi Ahmad, So that's why we have this thing here, right? Multiple intelligences. We might not be good in math and science because I mentioned to you it requires brain fitness, but we are good in music, good in art, good in soccer, right? So that's why we go back to which animal is your child. You don't torture your child. Your child is not a monkey, you torture. No point. So that's why I have students whereby straight away I know the brain core is very low, the result very low. I straight away advise the parents already. Your child like what? Soccer. Okay, go for DSA, direct school admission. Go for soccer. Right? So that means with these results, you can feel assured that you have done your best. You should not make your child bonyo anymore. Let your child explore his options. Right? But for now, we have no choice. This is Singapore. Singapore expect us, this is not Finland. Finland no exam. But Singapore expect our primary 6 kids to sit for PSLE and they base it on math. And the math is crazy math. Math, science, English, Malay, or whatever other mother tongue. You cannot help it. You cannot help it. But my brother actually migrated to Australia to escape from PSLE. Right? My brother is a lecturer in Monash. So he's a professor of teachers. So he's training teachers and he escaped PSLE for his kids' sake. He escaped. So for me, how I escape? I homeschool my kids. I help them to escape from the system by homeschooling my kids. Right? So if you notice, right, most educators, when they know their child cannot make it in the education, in terms of the science, whatever, they will do something else for the child. If you look at it, I think most educators won't really make the child bonyo if we know they cannot make it. Okay, so the brain core. Okay, the brain core basically shows you something like this, the different intelligences, and then later I'll go the different intelligences, and then here is the score lah. Okay, so basically we show you the score of the child, right? And I always tell parents, don't compare with your children. Later, Hannah, you got your score. Do you compare with your brother? You compare. So who's higher? You higher. What is your score? 54. Yours? Yours is 48. You see? It's reflected in their PSLE score also, It's reflected in the PSLE score. Hannah actually scored higher. You see, that's why you don't feel bad. Okay? You don't feel bad. Like I mentioned, you look at the animal, right? Just now I showed you. Hannah is a captain of hockey. You will be the world's greatest forensic scientist. Right? See, I still remember. You want to be a forensic scientist. He wants to be a forensic scientist. So it's like, this is the thing about parents. You cannot compare. When your kids want to compare, you will have to stop it. If not, you know what's happening right now, right? In our political scene. Siblings rivalry. That one is like, I don't know what to say. It's like it's like the highest level form of sibling rivalry you can ever see. We can't do like that. Okay? But they all are monkeys. They can climb trees very well. But they cannot get along. So that's why I say EQ is very important. Right? Okay? So some of the things I just want you all to take note is the definition of intelligent. Okay, the definition of intelligent, you all must take note. Because we've been talking a lot about cognitive. But so what, right? So these are the things you all need to take note when it comes to intelligence. Okay, in the Surah Al-Ra'd, okay, Allah actually says, but it is only the man of understanding that pay heed. Okay, Allah never said PSLE aggregate 297, go to heaven. He just said, man of understanding. So you can beat her if you have more understanding about what Allah is teaching you. Don't worry. PSLE grade doesn't define you. You will be a great hockey player. You want to be a hockey player? I think your parents are like, no. She better become scientist or doctor. What you want to be? Psychologist. Then you want to be forensic scientist. Both of you combined can save the world already. So why you want to compete? Okay? So if you look at the words from Allah, He mentioned about understanding, man of understanding, not man of high IQ. Right? As long as you understand, you should be doing fine. And Einstein say what? Einstein say the true sign of intelligence is not knowledge but imagination. Right? For your information, Albert Einstein didn't do well in school. Right? If you look at his history of Albert Einstein, he didn't do well in school. He only did well for math. And then he was rejected. He became like some kind of clerk in the patents office. Then finally he became a physicist. Right? Even he followed the Mills kinetic system. All right? Okay, now I'm going to go into the last segment, okay, which is the optimal learning strategies. All right? So this, I think most of you will get this in your package for those who are new, who never go for the Ramadan retreat, right? You will have these cards. So these cards are the multiple intelligence card. There are 8 of them. So if you had gone for the diagnostic suite, okay, you will know what are the dominant intelligences your child have. You can use them. So I want to bring up this parent. Your wife name is Masita, is it? Very on parent. Where is she? Masita. Sister Masita is there. She's hiding already. Okay, I really like, I think it's something that we can learn from her. Okay, Sister Masita, she's very on the ball. As soon as she finds out about her child's multiple intelligences, as soon as she reached Singapore, she go and buy the visual guide to science. Because she go and buy visual guide to science because she know her child is a visual learner, picture smart. So this is what I mean. You know, you use the multiple intelligences to help your child become better. Right? So like for example, her case, I'm also like, wow, don't know what to say, like, wow, so good, right? These two, when you know what your child is good at, you take action. Don't just take it as results. Right? So I think, I hope all of us can emulate Madam Masita. Okay, so these are the 8 intelligences like I mentioned. So you can open up the cards and then take a look at home. But if you don't know the results, a bit pointless, right? But you can guess. At this stage, you can guess. What are the intelligences of your kids? You can guess. Like for example, you say, oh, this child is good at drawing, want to draw, like to watch movie, like to make music. Then you just guess. Okay, for now, you just guess and use the cards. For those who have the results, you can be sure of the intelligences. Okay? Alright, so what I'm going to do is, I want to move on to this part which I want to focus on. Okay. Alright. So just now, I've been talking to you about cognitive functions, right? So just now I talked to you about the problems of certain groups of people in Singapore, like for example the Malays. The Malays, like I mentioned to you, from my research, the reason why they don't do well in math and science is because of their cognitive functions. So what can we do about it? Because Mendaki is forever trying to find a solution. What can we do about it? You know, what can we do about it? For 30 years, for 30 years, the results have always been like that. Why? Okay, so this is the reason why. Neuroplasticity. Okay, the neuroplasticity is actually the solution. Neuroplasticity is something that neuroscientists have discovered only recently, like in the past 20 years. Okay, in the past 20 years, neuroscientists have discovered that the brain is not fixed. That means last time they had the idea that when we are born, our brain is fixed until the day we die. That is understanding. But 20 years ago, neuroscientists have just discovered that the brain has the ability to change and develop. All right? So the very first period you already know, and that is when a child is up to 4 to 6 years old, right? That one you already know. So that's why I notice more and more Muslim Malay parents. This is actually very something to be proud of. I've seen more and more Malay Muslim parents are very involved in their young children. They send their kids to a lot of enrichment, trying to really develop the child fully. Because they know. Even Islam says that our child is a piece of cloth. Right? But what happens if we miss the train? What happens if we miss the train? Right? So if we miss the train, there is a research done by this American medical doctor. Okay, her name is Karen Pabe. Okay? So she is a doctor, neonatologist and clinical neuroscientist. So she actually did research with kids with all kinds of problems relating to the brain. So what she has found out, if you look at the graph, there are actually 2 peaks of neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity, basically you just take it as like your child's brain is like plasticine. Okay? Your child's brain is like plasticine. Let's say when the child is young, you've forgotten to develop the brain, or you didn't do much. Right? Now your child has another chance for you to mold the brain again. Okay? For you to make sure your child has greater self-belief, your child sekarang dah yakin kepada Allah, like the iman is there, he wants to solat. All these you can put in together during that period of puberty. It's not only about cognitive. It's not only about cognitive. It's even spiritual. So let's say you want your child to really have the correct habits. This is the other chance for you. The other chance for you is when your child reaches puberty. Alright, that's another chance. But of course, you all don't like 6-year-old take a break, never mind. Dr. Sam say puberty, then we come and work harder again. No, but if you look at the graph, it's actually gradual. So if you look at that, there's still some hope down there, but then there's a peak again during puberty. Right? So Allah is fair because Allah says that when the child balik, all the dosa you tanggung, no longer the parents. But He is fair. He gives all human beings a chance to go and develop one more time. Right? Even with your connection with Allah, the way you think of Allah, the way you think of Salat, that connection in your brain, you can do it again during puberty. Right? Because during puberty, I can share with you where the hormones come in, whereby the brain becomes more pliable, more flexible. Right? So you will form all the neural networks. So this is the thing which many parents don't know. Right? Because to them, when kids are teenagers already, they are problem. Got a lot of problem, They are interested in boys, they are interested in girls. They want to go out all the time. They want to watch Korean drama. Right? No, you don't watch Korean drama. Okay, that means Akil watch Korean drama. Okay? So, yeah, I know. That's the thing. When we watch, when we look at our kids, I don't have kids who are teenagers, but I have people, like my students are teenagers. We see them being very problematic to the extent that we give up hope. To us is, they're so problematic. I don't want to do anything. I don't leave it to them. But actually, we actually will lose the window of opportunity. Okay, this is our window of opportunity. So for those parents who have kids who are about Sec 1 or Primary 6, some kids, they have puberty at Primary 6, all the way to probably Sec 4, Sec 5 or JC 1, that is another period, another window for you to really help your child, support your child, let your child, pick up the life skills, the right mindset, things like that. Okay? Oh, very good question. So, Mr. Yan asked, is there any difference between girls and boys? The answer is yes, there's a difference, but there is no research that can be conclusive. Yeah, because for example, this doctor, right? She did her research based on her own patients. So her patients they don't have a huge number to compare girls and boys. So she has to lump it. Because like my case also I do that. Okay, very interesting. For my case, when I collect data, I will collect girls and boys, but I don't see any significant difference. I don't see. I think that one under early childhood, they have found that boys are generally late bloomers. In early childhood, yeah, early childhood, that is what they have found out. Alright, but for my case, the research that I've done, I do not see any difference between male and female. I do not see male or female. But if you ask me in terms of academic performance in general, we're not talking about cognitive function. Girls are getting better and better at boys in academic performance. Girls are getting better, but the numbers when you compare the whole of Singapore, it balances out. So I'm not sure whether does Irshad experience that, whereby you have more girls who are doing better? Oh, boys. Depend on season. So that's why it's not conclusive, right? Yeah, it's not conclusive. It's not conclusive because cognitive functions doesn't matter whether you're a boy or a girl. It doesn't matter. That's what my research have shown. My research have shown that. But in terms of puberty, I can share with you in terms of biological difference, girls will go through puberty earlier than boys. So for that reason could be why girls, they have more plasticity. You know what I mean? Because we were talking about late bloomer, right? So for boys, their puberty comes only slightly later. So I think that could be the reason why. But the data to show boy or girl in terms of brain, that one don't have. But puberty have. So boys get puberty, I think they will go through puberty much later than girls. Because I know some girls who are in primary 5, they already go through puberty. Depending on the puberty. So as soon as that child goes through puberty, that's the starting point already lah. So that's why we just now came, Mr. Yan, Tuan Yan was actually saying, is there a difference between boys and girls in terms of academic performance or cognitive function? I don't have any data on that, but puberty, it has been proven that girls go through puberty earlier than boys. So that could be the reason, you see, it matches. That's the reason why girls tend to do, probably they are more focused in their studies than boys. That could be the reason. Okay? Alright, so last few slides. Okay, this is something that I prepared because I know the parents are from madrasah, so you all always tell your kids to solat, zikir, things like that. So research have shown you don't have to wait for your child from 0 to 4 years old or until puberty. Meditation also helps in neuroplasticity. So that means even if your child is already like say primary 2, right, but you let them solat, you let them zikir, you let them doa, you let them do prayers, it also helps to rewire the brain. Right? So that's why I say you all don't like just wait for the 2 windows of neuroplasticity, then you all do. In fact, just meditate. And in fact, for your information, these results were tabulated by research done by people who meditate in different religious groups, but this research group is predominantly by people who are Buddhists. There are many Westerners who are Buddhists nowadays. So this research was done by them. Right? But in Islam, we know what? We always tell our kids to solat, to pray. So just now that boy, Nabil, the one who went to Raffles, the parents, even though from a secular school, the parents will make sure he reads the Quran, he will pray, they will pray for him, they will always, I think, basically everything pray to Allah. And there's a scientific fact. If not, all of us will say, no, pray to Allah, you must pray. Before your exam, you must pray this, pray. Now you have scientific fact. Right? There's a scientific fact for meditation. Alright, so what is the solution for kids who are not brain fit? Okay, so basically there's this world-class brain fitness training. For me, right, when I do something, I always want to do the best for as long as my body can take it. So that's why one of the partners that we partner with is this researcher, okay, this scientist. He is the pioneer of neuroplasticity, right? So he has created a brain fitness program that we use for our students. All right, so the brain fitness program, he actually is supported by 100 different academic journals. So his brain fitness training is actually supported by 100 academic journals by top neuroscientists. Right? So I want to show you, these are the 6 areas his group can help lah. Attention, brain speed, memory, people skills, intelligence and navigation. And this brain training has been done by, they did it on Japanese old people lah, the old folks, conducted by Nestle Japan. Right? So they did research on the old folks. Because old folks lose memory, right? Dementia. So they did it, and it was so successful, they rolled out throughout the whole of Japan. Right? So this is the same program that I use for my students. All right? And you'll be very surprised that it looks like this. Okay, so this one is attention. Alright, so they will give 2 dots, then the 2 dots will move around, then after that your child is supposed to pay attention. You know, so for children who cannot pay attention, this will be very good training exercises. Alright, so as the time progresses, it will get harder and harder, then you will personalize it to you. So the shortest exercise is 5 minutes. You are only supposed to do about 90 minutes in a week. Okay, so this test is for people who has who needs help in the brain fitness, and also for people who score higher than 45 for the brain core. So when you score higher than 45 the brain core, we want to push you up even to the max, because that means, you know, like 45 is like cannot go Olympiad, but can still get good result for math. So might as well we develop it further to the level of somebody who can go Olympiad, for example. Right, and then for those who are below 30, we have different exercises for them to help them, like at least have attention, memory, IQ, things like that. Right? So this one has been widely used by many companies in the world, and they are used by real patients with dementia, with a lot of problems. So that's why I only take up programs which I believe. So this program is a very good program. Okay, so now the other thing I've given in the back is this exam tips. Alright, so I think you all can use it for your kids, right? Because exam preparation is also very important, right? I have seen students who have very good connection, very good motivation, but if they are not good in preparing for exams, also doesn't translate to good academic performance. Alright, so you can just go through the cards. Alright. So this one, number 1 is parental support. So it's good that you all are here. Teachers help. Okay, I'm sure Madrasah Irshad, the teachers are all very helpful. Okay, active learning. This is the part. Many students, they go to school 8 hours, but if they don't have active learning, they're not learning anything. So you have to make sure your kids are actively learning. You know, like take down notes, ask the question, engage. So actually, it also depends on the teacher's teaching style, approach. So if the teacher is like PowerPoint slide after PowerPoint slide after PowerPoint slide, the kid also fall asleep. You know? But in general, the better kids, they will not fall asleep. They will like purposely try to make it as active as possible, even though the teachers just show PowerPoint slides. All right, and daily revision. Daily revision. All right, overnight success comes about after years of hard work. Overnight success can come about after years of hard work. So that's a daily revision. Okay, and then the other very important thing is link concepts. Whatever your child is learning, it's good to link concepts. Okay, and then study together. It's also good to study together to maintain motivation. But some kids, they are not people smart, so don't bother them with studying together. Okay, it's best that they study on their own. Avoid distractions. So this generation, their distraction is ultimate. They have the ultimate distraction. Yes? Paper 2. Oh, like to listen to music. Yeah, you're right. For me, when I study, I like to listen to music. Okay, so you parents, I mean, if you are, how old are you? You're 14. I think you're old enough to know whether music, because the thing about me is, I do not know whether you're the same like me. I listen to music because it makes me study longer. I can tahan longer. I can study for 8 hours non-stop because I was listening to music, and I enjoy the process. That means studying doesn't become a bore. That's why I listen to music. So when I listen to music, it's very pumped up. I feel very pumped out, so I will study, I'll learn better. So all these depend on the child. Some children, they don't want to even hear a single sound. They just want very quiet, like the library. So you all have to take note, which is best for you all. Okay, so for me, I do listen to music, but most important here is distraction. The word here is distraction. Right, like for example, you listen to your music, you use your smartphone, but there's WhatsApp, then how you study? In the end, you end up replying to WhatsApp while listening to music, not studying. Okay, then number 8 is, this one is all the tips I'm sharing with you are all scientifically shown. Okay, you need to be healthy. That means your child really need to sleep well, eat the right foods. And there are some brain foods. Okay, so when they go through the brain training program, we actually tell them what food to eat. All right, and then for exams, of course, they have to come prepared. Come prepared, make sure they have all the right things. And the last tip, which you will never find in any other exam tips except this one, is they must learn to keep going. So that means you as parents must accept the probability or the chance that your child will not succeed in something, right? And let them keep on learning, because that's very important. You have to keep on telling them, keep on going, keep on going. Because in life, I mean, I've seen kids, they PSLE straight A's, O-level straight A's, JC straight A's, and then they got married, cannot handle the marriage. Cannot handle the marriage. And then have a very, like, wow, really miserable life. Because they cannot cope, you see, they cannot cope. Like suddenly they have a failure, cannot cope, because they do not know the meaning of failure. So that's why for us, I feel this is something that we have to think about positively. Okay? So, let me just... Okay, so basically my advice is to help your child live life with a purpose. Right? So that is my message to you all. So like for my case, I have a motivation. All of us need to have a goal. We need to have a direction and a purpose in life. So you have to give your child a purpose. So for me, when I was a student, my purpose was to do my best in my exams. That's all I care about. Right? That's all I care about. So you must give your child a purpose. So like for example, Akil has told me he wants to go into forensic science. So you have a purpose. So you must continue on with that purpose, right? So for my case, before we end, I just want to share with you that my purpose, if you were to go outside there, you will see there's a booth, right? So my company actually started this corporate social responsibility program, which is called One Heart Charity. So One Heart Charity, what we do here is we try to help others, right? So if you look at the hadith, there's one hadith which mentioned that, it's always good for us to look at those people who have lesser than us, so that we feel that Allah has not given us less blessing. In fact, Allah has blessed us even more. So what was very interesting is this. When at the end of every year, the students of Dr. Zam Learning Studio and Qantas Learning, we have this event called Oh My Greatest Awards, and also Gratitude. That means they can only be great when they are grateful. So these are some of the things which I think will help your child to be even better, right? So one of the goals, my goal, is to basically get people together, regardless of race, language, or religion, to do good for others who need them. Like for example, Singapore, I have somebody from Indonesia and somebody from Malaysia. Singapore got such people. Singapore really got such people. So poor thing. They don't know, no? They don't know that Singapore actually have such people. They think Singapore are all rich people. Nobody is poor. Nobody needs help, right? So yeah, so that's what One Heart Charity is about. So if you go out, you will also see there's this Kueh Raya, right? The name, do you all know the name? The name is actually my mother's name. It's Old Fatima. So it's my late mother. So I created that brand as a social enterprise. So that brand is actually a brand after my mother's name. So my mother is Old Fatima. I mean, her name is Fatima, Aja Fatima. But Old Fatima is actually the song, right? You know, like the Pop Ye Ye song. So so to me, you see, like I think Mr. Hisham actually shared with you all about legacy, right? Leaving behind a legacy. So to me, I feel that when you have that purpose, right? When you have that purpose and your purpose is very clear for your family and for your kids, I think that's the part where you will have unlimited motivation, right? So for me, I've always knew I wanted to be a transformer of lives. So I slowly progressed, you see, from an educator that transforms students. So my next phase in life is to transform even those who are not students, transform parents. You know, because when you can transform parents, all the children will also be transformed. And then you transform society and the community. Right? So, yeah, thank you very much. I hope you all had a very fruitful session. If you have any questions, you can ask. Yes? Oh my God, you use new species. Okay, I'm getting myself into trouble, but never mind. The concept of new species, yeah. Okay. Oh, to what aspect it affects your education? Okay, very good question. So she's wondering, just now I mentioned about the Malays being a very relatively new group of human beings, right? So for your information, before I answer that, race is man-made. Race, the concept of race is man-made. People define who makes up that group. So if we go back to the Malay group, she's asking, how does the fact that the Malays are a new race affect the education aspects of the Malays, right? That's your question, right? Yeah. So what I was trying to tell her is, in Singapore system, the math and science require the students to have a certain brain fitness level. So from my research, I've seen that the Malays, in general, I'm saying in general means like there are some exceptions. Okay, but in general, the Malays are cognitively weaker than other races. So how does it affect education? In Singapore, that's how it affects our education. Right? In Malaysia, some of you might be wondering Malaysia, right? I have friends who are in Malaysia. Okay, Malaysia is a different story. Malaysia, because of their Bumi Putra policy, even the Chinese who have very high cognitive functions, they still don't have a chance in education. I have a friend who is a Chinese Malaysian. She is so smart, her siblings are all doctors and everything, but she didn't meet the quota. So they still have to give the Malays whose brain fitness is still not as high, but they still have to give them, because that is already political. It's already a political reason already. Right? So for my case, I'm not interested in the political reason or whatever reason. I just want to see the facts. Right? So for Singapore, I think I'm actually very proud to see more and more Malay Muslim parents. They are more serious in education as compared to last time. Yeah. So I can see that with myself. I mean, one of the things I see is that more and more Malay Muslim parents not only interested in education, they are interested in also making their children more spiritual. Yeah, so I think that's a positive thing. I mean, at the end of the day, you want to look at it positively or negatively. The fact that we know we are the race that is the worst makes us like, don't give up. We keep trying. So we become a race that one day, inshallah, I'm not sure how long it will take us, inshallah, we will see a curve like pang, go up. I do not know when will that come. But every time I dream about that, I dream about, will that year be the year where I can help the graph to suddenly make the Malay go up that year? So, I don't know. Yes? For boys, is it better to study then go NS or NS then study? What's the age of your child? For future, okay, I can tell you depending on your child. If your child is not interested in studies, go NS first. Because NS will then make the child realize that he wants to study. I've seen so many friends when I go NS, last time I was in the rifle, I was a rifleman, platoon medic. So I have all these kids from ITE who drop out, all the drop out. So they always share with me, oh yeah, actually I regretted not studying. I want to go and study again. That's what my personal observations is. So if your child is not interested in study, not interested, let him go NS. Yeah, let him go NS. Then he will realize, alamak, study is better than NS. But if your child loves studying, then don't go NS first. Let the child go poly or whatever, JC. Like my case, I disrupted from NS because I took a scholarship. So I disrupted from NS because I'm interested in study, so I might as well study. Right? So you have to see your child. So if your child is not interested, then you go through NS. Yes? Yeah, yeah. And what's his age? Oh, okay, two. Okay, so I think he is one of the exceptions whereby at a young age you can see that he specializes in certain intelligences. He's considered rare. Normally, kids of his age will be very balanced. So my advice for you is to support that. Support, but you must also take note. Singapore's education system expects him to also be good in his writing. So my advice is, okay, this is what I always tell parents, do not ruin the good in a child because the child is not good in the study. So for your child, what I suggest you do, you support him in his math, let him score A star, whatever, really good. And then his linguistics, you know that he's going to take a longer time to develop. So you have to make sure his motivation is not lost. Because once he loses his motivation, math also he don't want to do. Yes, it's okay because I have seen mathematicians who are very successful and they don't like languages. In Singapore environment, like I mentioned to you, sustain his motivation. That one's very important because Singapore education system will penalize him because his language is not good. So you need to push him for his math. You just need to let him continue with his math. Let him really develop his math. Even though, let's say right now he's K2, he can do primary 3 math, let him be. Even though his language is now still K1. Let's say he still doesn't know how to read. Doesn't like the words. Okay, then you have to teach him in a math way. Language, you need to teach language in a math way. Logical way. Yeah. So you look at the card for math, down there are learning strategies. So you teach language in a math way. Okay. Say again? Okay, that one, a professor in cognitive psychology will teach you that. But anyway, I'll just tell you. The banding is different cognitive functions, right? So the different colors are for different cognitive functions. For his case, what's the score? 49 is very high for K2. 49 is very high. Okay, but I'm not comparing. Akil is okay. It's okay. Hannah, you're very bad. Compare with him now, you see? He compares himself to K2 kid. No, 49 means very good. That's why I'm trying to tell you. Your kid will experience this. He will lose his self-esteem. Because the education system is going to whack him on his English and his languages. So you must, like I mentioned to you, use the learning strategies for math smart kids. Don't do that. Because 49 is very high for K2. 49 is very high. For math, is he going to Madrasah Ishad? Looking at him, I think teachers will consider him one of the misbehaving boys. No? he will behave in kindergarten. So he's always moving around like that. Oh. So for me, I think for that score that he has, you can push him further for math. So that's why I was asking in relation to Madrasah Irsyad, because I know Madrasah Irsyad, the kids you send for math Olympiad, right? Yeah. So I know Madrasah Irsyad send. I'm not sure which primary school you want to send him to. But like I mentioned, you must check lah. Now that you know, right, he's good in math, you go and check on MOE website. They will tell you. Like this primary school, they will tell, oh, we are very good at math. We have a math program. So you check. You must check. Because for him, my concern is this. I've said before. Kids like him, who are very good in math, like 49 is considered very high, for him. Can you imagine if he's not good in English, he will see his result. Then he will lose his self-esteem. So you need to really manage his motivation. Right? Inshallah, he will be a mathematician. Yes. Okay, that one, I think you can send an email, admin@drzam.com. They will give you a link. admin@drzam.com. Okay, you can go to the website, Dr. Zam's Learning Studio. Yeah, I've seen many of such kids. We have very diverse talents, and the school penalizes them. I have kids who are very good in music, very good in art. Like, for example, I can share with you this story. There's this boy, recently, he's my student. I saw recently on Facebook, he received, he has a painting he passed to Dr. Tony Tan, the president. So this boy, you wouldn't know, when he was starting out in secondary school, he mixed with bad company. So he's very good in art. I've always seen he's very good in art. So he's not good in chemistry, not good in science, not good in math. He almost gave up. So his parents are Christians. Muslims and Christians, we don't differ that much. But when we are religious, they have values. So this boy, luckily the parents are very staunch Christians, are very religious Christians. So managed to keep the child away from bad company and sustain the motivation to the extent that the parent encourage art for your child, math. But this boy encouraged art, So I slowly saw the development of his pictures because he's my Facebook friend. So the most recent one I saw, he gave a painting. He's in NS, so I think they were celebrating SAF Day or whatever. So now his painting is a gift for the president of Singapore, and he's my student. So I'm very proud of him. He's not good in studies. So that's why I always tell parents, do not ruin the good in your child because your child is not good in his studies. You must really get that. I'm not saying you give up. If you know your child is lazy, then there's a different story. That means the M is not there. Yeah. So if there is any further questions, you can always email. Okay, my personal email is contact@drzam.com. For any other inquiries, you can email admin@drzam.com. Actually, on the handout, there's actually my contact. Okay, so I think, so I'll end this seminar wishing that you all have benefited as much as possible, and I hope you all remember that your child is very different from even your own children, those like Akil and Hannah. I keep using your both because I remember your names and I know what you all aspire to be, right? So even though they are your children, they are very different. So that's something that you really need to not be influenced by our education system. Our education system is very pressurizing even for parents. So you yourself must be strong to tell yourself, yes, I know my child. Like for example, that madam's child, right? I know my child is good in math, he's not going to be good in English. I just have to be strong. Never mind, let him be good in math. One day he will be like that boy, like my student who gave the painting to the president. He's not good in his studies. Okay, so thank you very much.
I think all of us agree. Dr. Zam is younger than me, but he inspires me. Actually, in fact, today's talk has been planned many weeks before the retreat even. Thank you, parents. If you have any query or any question or any feedback, do log into on the Facebook today lah. And then I think Dr. Zam's YouTube telecast is there. I already put it there. Mine is there also. I think all of us can share lah. Share. I believe. I think based on what Dr. Zam says also lah. The spirit of giving will make us a difference. It's not our being rich with knowledge, but our sharing that make us a difference from the rest. And my Al-Fatiha to your late mom, the name of Fatima, now I know. So why that product is that name lah. Our doa to her soul and the rest of our parents' soul. Hopefully, inshallah, after this, all our children, I believe what Dr. Zam said just now, it will come true, that one day, I think it's not about what happened to us, but how we react towards what happened. So the Malay will not remain like that, but maybe our children will be the chosen one to make it a difference. Amin. So all the best for these last 8 days of Ramadan. May Allah give us the strength to last until Hari Raya. Inshallah. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh.
Once again, anyway, the proceeds from the back of the major yang Fatimah punya goodies, there's a tabung. Of course, there's a isyatnya tabung lah. Please feel generous to donate to the tabung, and all the donation will go to the One Heart charity. Yeah, it's a isyat tabung, but we will take out and put it, label it to One Heart charity. Please donate generously. Terima kasih. Assalamualaikum.